Hey, welcome back, race fans. Welcome to the Late Model Challenge Series this week, brought to you by In Zone Racing. Looks like we've got a pretty decent-sized field of cars here this week. Looks like we've qualified, actually 12 have practiced, actually 10 have taken time, so not too bad. Joined in the booth this week by former Late Model Shootout Series champion Jeff By Jr., also Rusty Arthur and Kevin Malone, two regular Late Model Shootout Series drivers. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Ready for some racing today?
Yeah, let's get it going here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch one of these here and call it.
Yeah, it's a lot different sitting up in the booth than it is being down on the track.
Without a doubt, guys. This is a crazy place to watch a race here at the Martinsville Speedway, so we'll see how these guys, I know they've had some pretty exciting races in the past here, and we'll see how these guys can do.
We got Kenneth O'Keefe on the pole. Just regular in the Saturday Night Shootout Series. You don't see him much in the LMCS, but he's here tonight and sits on the front row with points leader Mike Alexander.
Looks like we got Ian Blanchard running third, or qualifying third. Not a bad lap there. A little bit off the pace, but and then you got Alex Lacagnata. I hope I said that right. But he's in fourth.
And starting fifth, you got the 44 Jeffrey Gallup, and starting sixth, the 85 Sean Rafferty.
Starting seventh will be the 91 of Stefan Brunel. The eighth is the 23 of Jessen McClintock. And rounding out the field, looks like we've only had 9 cars take time, and rounding out the field is number 77 of Mason Rogers.
We got some guys who are going to start. Didn't make a qualifying lap. I think Eric Malik will start 10th. He spun out on his qualifying lap, and he's chasing Mike Alexander in the points. He's only 8 behind, so he's going to have some ground to make up tonight. And then behind them, they have the looks like the 89 car of Lee Walker, and I saw.
So we should be going green here momentarily. Got a couple of laps to run under pace laps to get the tires warmed up a little bit. And hopefully we'll have a good clean race here.
You know, guys, the Challenge Series is I guess, the support series, maybe the sister series of the Late Model Shootout Series. As you know, the format here is we run a north-south shootout, and the top 15 from each series points moves into the Late Model Shootout Series, and then the bottom group, or the guys that weren't fortunate to run top 15, they run into the Challenge Series. But these are some quality race car drivers. I know Kenneth O'Keefe has one heck of a high rating, but also Mike Alexander, the point leader, he is a former Late Model Shootout Series race winner, so that's nothing to sneeze at all.
A lot of these guys were guys that didn't make every race of their North or South Shootout Series, so just did not make it in the top 15 because they missed 2 or 3 races. So they're still pretty quick drivers, just didn't make the cut.
Need to give a shout out here to Kevin for winning the ITZR Winter Shootout Series on Saturday night. Good job there, Kevin. Way to go.
I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun.
And they're coming up turn 4 to the green flag right now. Pace car's in, green's out, and Kenneth is going to jump out to a big lead right away.
Looks like everybody gets through turn 1 pretty good. Going down the back stretch.
And Ian Blanchard takes over the 2nd spot from Alexander. He couldn't quite get down to the bottom of the track, so he's going to lose another spot there.
Kenneth O'Keefe shooting to the lead here. He's jumped out to a pretty good advantage already. He leads the first lap by almost a second.
Yeah,
and we got some bumping and banging here in turn 3.
Everybody keeps it going straight, but it looks like the 24 car got the worst end of that. He's going to lose quite a few spots here.
24 of Alex Lacagnata. Looks like he's got quite a bit of left side damage there. Looks like the whole entire left side's pushed in a little bit. That's still a good battle back there.
Yeah, there's a good battle they're going for back in the mid-pack there, but I don't know if anybody's got anything from Kenneth. He's running pretty good.
Yeah, and O'Keefe is stretching his lead about 0.2 of a second a lap right now. He's just taking off, and you know, Ian, he was pretty quick in the late model shootout series race. He finished second to Jeremy Davis, so that's a pretty good run for him in the shootout series race, and he's losing quite a bit of ground on Kenneth, so that just shows how fast Kenneth really is.
Yeah, we got Eric Malik's made a nice jump up from shotgun on the field all the way up to 7th position already. He was one of the fastest in practice.
As Jeff pointed out earlier, that is the points. Oh, we've got trouble going into 3, and they look like they get through it again. It's a 23, I believe, of Justin McClintock. Got turned a little bit by the 85 of Sean Rafferty. But he looked like he got a little bit of wall and kept going. And just a little beating and banging there, Martinsville style. 85 just gives the 23 a little nudge, shoves him up the track. But no harm, no foul. I guess we're good to go.
That's gonna let Lee Walker move into the 9th spot right now. Just gets around the 23. Lee started tail end of the field, didn't make a qualifying attempt, and didn't really run much practice. Came in kind of late.
And getting back to what we were just talking about a moment ago, Jeff, you had mentioned that the points battle was between Mike Alexander and Eric Malik, and that right now is not a battle on the track, unfortunately, as they are separated by about 5 seconds. Of course, these are pretty long races, 75 laps, so we'll see what little bit Eric can come up with. Maybe he can run Mike down and see if he can get ahead of him.
Yeah, and the disadvantage for Eric tonight is that there really isn't that many cars, and you know, he's 8 points behind. That's about 4 positions without leading any laps. And as we say that, the yellow comes out right here. Not
looks
sure
like we
why.
had trouble in 1 and 2.
Looks like it was the 23 and the 89 got together, and the 23 goes around. Just nicks the wall up in turn 1 and 2, but looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, you got to really back up your corners here so you can, when you go into the turns, you can keep your car down. If you go in too hard, yeah, you're gonna just like he did there. He's gonna shoot up right into the side of somebody else, and that'll send him around. And
the leader elects to stay out, and here comes 2nd and 3rd place coming into the pits. 5th place, Malik is going well.
23 is in also. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage to get repaired on the rear of that car after making a little tag to the wall there.
And Malik's going to take 2 tires. He's going to beat out Mike Alexander. And it looks like Blanchard might have beat out Alexander as well. And now O'Keefe goes in a lap later, so he's going to pit and give up the lead to Jeffrey Gallup.
Well, I can't understand the strategy there. If he pits now, he's going to be starting at the rear of the field, and I just don't see the strategy in that.
I think he didn't want to be left out there when all the other fast guys just pulled in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with Kevin on that one. I think he got snookered a little bit by everybody else in the field. Maybe thought they weren't going to pit. People weren't thinking about tires, only 13 laps in, and yeah, he didn't want to be the only guy sitting out there with used up tires. So yeah, he's going to take a pit stop. Only about 10 cars running right now. You know, maybe he's going to think it won't be much of a problem getting through them.
Looks like we did have 1 car lose a lap in that. As the 77 of Mason Rogers went a lap down during those pit stops. So he has a chance to get the lucky dog and stay back in this race if he gets back out there.
Yeah, I think Kenneth got a fast enough car that he can get back to the front. But like you say, it's, you know, getting back through the traffic is what's going to be the problem. And there was a lot of double file racing going back there, and it's just well, you can get through the corners as to where you can make up your positions.
I think we have to keep in mind that Mike Alexander is a very seasoned race driver, so you know, he's got a little traffic to deal with right now as well, but you know, once I expect him to definitely get out near the front, and it's going to be a tough pass for Kenneth O'Keefe.
Pace car's in, we're going back green, and there goes Jeffrey Gallup. He takes off to a big lead out of turn 4, and second and third just got together a little bit, but it looks like Eric Malik's going to take over the second spot off turn 2.
And it looks like we're getting pretty much single file.
Gallup's opened the door going into turn 1 and let the 15 just go underneath him and take the spot. And here comes the one of Blanchard, and he's going to try to go around the around Jeffrey Gallup here.
This is your points battle again, guys. That's Eric Malik that's not taking the lead, and he is chasing Mike Alexander for that points championship, and this is the final race, so he's doing everything at this point that he can to try to win that championship.
And Mike Alexander jumps into third spot.
And up to fifth already, and moving into fourth spot, it was Kenneth O'Keefe, so he's on the charge already. He's catching up to these front 3 already.
Yeah, Kenneth just moved into 4th position.
His car seems to get into the corners better, get through the center better, and get off a little better than everyone else. So Kenneth is definitely on the charge.
Moves Gallup back to the 5th spot, and Lockanada back there in 6th, all over his rear bumper trying to get around him. He's we got a car spinning off turn 2. It's Sean Rafferty in the 85, just went around coming off turn 2.
Oh, it looks like he had a little help there from the 23 car of Justin McClintock. I don't know if that was a little payback from the last caution or not. And there you hear Justin apologizing to Sean about that. Did look like they got together a little bit, but I don't think it was much. But it doesn't take much here when you're going at those speeds in the corners.
And Blanchard is running in 3rd. He'll be the first car to pit, and everybody else behind him is going to go in as well. So that leaves Malik and Mike Alexander out there on those probably about 2-3 lap old tires now.
What do you think, Jeff? Are they going to take 4? Are they going with the 2 left sides since they did 2 right sides?
It's hard to say. Somebody might try to take 2 and get some track position, but I think the faster guys are probably just going to go with 4 right now. It's like Lockanada took 2, Blanchard took 4, O'Keefe's going to take 4.
So Eric and Mike stayed out. This will be interesting. Wonder how many laps it'll take for Kenneth to get up to the front.
Not too many green flag laps on their tires that time, Rusty. I'm not sure if it's you know, I wouldn't think that after about 7 or 8 laps that they're dropping off that much. I wasn't really watching their lap times, but I'm not thinking that they're going to be hurt too bad for not pitting there.
Yeah, I think it was a good call. They only had about 5 or 6 green flag laps there.
Based on what we've seen with iRacing recently with the new tires, it's really that first lap where you get the big advantage. If you can hold those guys off for that first lap of their new tires, then you're a little more on even ground.
Right, I understand that, but I didn't pay attention to the last pit stop. Did Eric and Mike take 2 or did they take 4?
They stayed out on the track. They did not go in the pits at all. So first car that pitted was the 24, who did take 2 tires, and then you have Blanchard in the 1 and 4th who took 4.
Yeah, I believe Eric took 2 on the first one because he moved up a few spots.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure of when on that first pit stop when everybody came in and Kenneth got snookered. I didn't know if Mike and Eric took 2 or 4. I was watching to see why Kenneth didn't bid.
And pace cars off. We're going to go back to green here.
You got that championship battle right up front. Eric Mullen versus Mike Alexander, and Molly takes him to the flag, gets a little bit of a jump going into one.
Here comes the 24. Lacanada. He's trying to get under Mike Alexander.
Ooh!
And
we got trouble.
Lacanada is in the wall. He collects a Keith Blanchard. 91 and the 77 get together. It looks like the 91's dog tracking real bad right now.
Yeah, that one looked like Ian Blanchard got in the back of the 24 of Alex Lacagno.
Looks like the 91's going to be done. He really got the worst end of that. He got crawling away from that wreck, but he's got heavy damage.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the 1 made contact with the 24 to turn him come out off a 2. Unfortunately, our pole seater, Kenneth O'Keefe, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's been collected, along with about 4 or 5 other cars, unfortunately.
Getting back to that last auction, I'd say staying out with those 5 laps looking really good right now.
I can't say I don't blame you there for staying out under, you know, considering what just happened, so. But that was Ian getting under him a little bit too much, thinking he had room, and he just floated up just a little bit and caught the left corner, and that sent him around.
Yeah, just taking a look at driver chat here. Looks like Kenneth O'Keefe has 15 minutes of repair, so I'm not sure. I don't know if he wants to sit and wait for that, but that might be the end of the pole sitter's day.
Yeah, he took a hard hit there.
A couple of the guys that did get damaged got back out. The 1 of Ian Blanchard and the 23 of is that McClintock. They got back out on the track and stay on the lead lap. And go back in the pits for a little more repair, but looks like it's all optional damage that they had.
And look at who snuck up into 3rd place. It's Lee Walker. I believe he spun out in his qualifying laps, didn't he, Jeff?
Yeah, he might have. He didn't really practice much, kind of showed up late. He was actually looking for the nationwide practice that's going to be happening a little later today for Wednesday's nationwide race, and you know, they told him he was able to run, so he got out on the track and raced.
I guess he just happened to have the late model sitting in the hauler, huh?
Yeah, you never leave home without it, right?
Yeah. So it's the American Express late model.
Yeah, you got to run what you brung. That's what they say. So. Double file again. About ready to go back to green flag here. Going into the pace car, going into 3, getting ready to pull off. Lee gets a little anxious there, but Eric takes the lead into 1.
Yeah, the 89 got in the back of Eric just a little bit. He's going to fall back to 4th right now. It's like Jeffrey Gallup's going to take over the 3rd spot.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of wishing I was in the middle of this race and not just sitting up here broadcasting it.
I hear you, Rusty. I took off the driving suit and, you know, hung up the wheel for a bit just to do these broadcasts. It's fun, though. It's definitely fun. This looks like a pretty fun race to be involved in, though, right now. I wouldn't have wanted to been a part of that big wreck, though. I would have gotten quite frustrated.
Yeah, that wreck wasn't anything to be a part of, but I have to say, you know, I love running Martinsville. It's one of the best short tracks that iRacing puts out, whether it's a late model or a truck or an A car, you know, or even the SKs. This is a really good track to run.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Rusty. Fun place to run when you get the right group of guys.
Speaking of getting behind the wheel again, we got a couple of weeks off here before the ITZR Late Model Pro Series starts up. Most of us are going to be racing in that. Good chance for a lot of guys that clean racers and fast racers to get out there and running some competitive money racing.
It's going to be quite interesting in Pro Series, though. It's I know all of us are all on separate teams, I believe, so it's going to be different.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say you got 2/3 of Team Van Meter in the booth right now.
Yeah, you got me and Kevin are on Britt's team, so you know we're looking forward to making a good showing for the Van Meter team. Looks like Mike and Ian are running, or not Ian, I'm sorry. Eric and Mike are running pretty good here, first and second, but Mike doesn't have anything for Eric there. He's coming up on it now. But
we had a car go around in turn 4 there as 85 of Sean Rafferty. He just kind of lost it going into 3, tried to save it and held on to it all the way down to turn 4, and he just kind of stopped on the inside wall out of turn 4. And that'll bring out the yellow flag.
Yeah, it looks like he drove it in a little bit too hard and spun out right there and got up against the wall. And there was a few cars coming, so they decided to throw the yellow just in case.
Leaders are in the pits. Eric Mullick and Mike Alexander, along with Gallup, they're all taking their cars to the pits right now.
I want to say good job there to Sean. He held it down there. A couple cars were coming. He could have just backed out like quite a few we know do on iRacing, but he held it down and waited for a clean spot to come out.
And we're going to have a new leader, the 89, Lee Walker. You know, showed up late, now he's leading the race, so he'll, looks like he's going to dive into the pits, though. He's going to take tires now, decided better of it, and that'll give the 77 of Mason Rogers the wave by. He's going to be 1 lap down now. He's working his way back in after being down I think as many as 5 laps.
And Ian Blanchard follows him into the pits, so let's see who emerges as the new leader.
Looks like Eric's going to come back out as the leader now. Followed by Mike again.
I'll tell you what, guys, only 10 cars, and my head is just a little bit scrambled here. I'm trying to figure out where everybody's going, where they've been, and where they should be. I'm trying to figure out who's what.
Yeah, through all the confusion, looks like the 44, Jeffrey Gallup, actually got out of the pits first, and he's going to take the lead. Not sure if he took 2 tires or what, but he did beat the 15 out of the pits.
So that's Gallup back to the lead. Eric Mullick will slot in here in second. Mike Alexander third. Justin McClintic will be in 4th. And then Lee Walker, looks like after these pit stop, comes out in 5th.
And we can say that Alex Lacanata, Kenneth O'Keefe, Stefan Brunel, and Sean Rafferty have all retired from the race, so they are done for the day.
Yeah, I did see after repairs, Stefan came back out. His car was still walking the dog pretty bad there, doing the crab walk down the back straightaway. Looks like he just took her back to the garage. So, tough day for the 91 car.
And we're going back to green. We've got 7 cars still in the race.
Green flag.
And Malik got a pretty good restart. He's actually going to beat the 44 into turn 1 and see if he can hold it off turn 2. They're going to be side-by-side racing for the lead.
And that's not easy to do if you're on the outside, because the outside is not the preferred lane here, but looks like Eric's holding his own. going into turn 3.
Yeah, and the 44 of Jeffrey Gallup giving them lots of room, being real nice, not running them all the way up to the wall there. So they're going to have a pretty good side-by-side battle.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric looks like he sure does have a strong car to be running the outside that well.
I can tell you what Jeffrey Gallup's thinking. He's thinking, please get off the gas. Please, I want to lead this thing.
Yeah, I bet he's thinking more than that. He's wanting to get single file so he can keep Eric behind him. But Eric's just not giving up, coming down the front stretch, and looks like Eric's going to pass him going into 1.
And here comes 75, Mike Alexander. He saw Eric do it, and now he's going to jump to the outside. He caught the wall coming off turn 2 a bit.
Oh, he caught it again.
And now he's
Mike
going to dive under the 44.
Here. Mike knows he has to get past that 44. Any kind of points that Eric can make up on him might cost him the LMCS championship.
Yeah, we might not think it's much, and the fans at home might not think it's much, but 8 points, you know, it's really not that much, and it's not very hard to make up. It might be here, though, with the low car count that we have.
Yeah, without the laps led figured into this, it would be about 4 positions that Eric would need to beat Mike by to have a chance at this. It looks like he's well on his way to leading the most laps, so he could pick up an extra 2 bonus points there and really have a good shot at this.
Yeah, there are enough cars circulating at this point that if there was something to happen to the 75 car, if he came into some kind of incident, some issue, Eric Mullet could take this championship, take it away from him.
Well, just remember, it only takes 1 lap going into a corner, and you go in too hard or you get on the gas too much in the middle of the turn, and around you go, and that could have somebody hit you, or you can hit the wall and take you out of the race. But right now, these 2 drivers running first and second look pretty smooth.
And the top 2 starting to check out on the 44 car, just dived into the pits right now.
And he has actually parked that machine, so I'm not sure what might have happened there.
I wonder if he just made his point of leading the lap and then just getting out of it. I'm not sure. We'll have to get in touch with him and see what happened.
So that's going to help Mike Alexander as he looks for this championship. Another car behind the wall. That's another position he cannot fall and not lose. So, fewer cars on the track, really going to help Mike right now.
And that's going to move Ian Blanchard up to the 3rd spot. He's about 5 seconds behind the leader right now. And then in the 4th spot, you have Lee Walker. And then 5th spot, the last car on the lead lap, is Justin McClintock.
Right now, it looks like Mike Alexander is starting to reel in Eric. He's moved it in. He's in within 0.4 of a second right now.
Looks like he's driving it in pretty hard, getting a little loose in the middle of the turn, but he's coming off good and catching up with Eric. So if he can make those tires stick in the turn, then he might have a shot at taking a win. But then again, we still have almost 40 laps left, a little over 40 laps left to go.
Oh, it is a 100-lap race. Well, my fault. I thought we usually run 75 laps here, but you're right. 40 laps to go with these guys. I was just noticing lap times. Basically, Kevin is right. Mike has been running just a tick quicker, but it looks like the last 2 laps, Eric has been about a few hundreds quicker than Mike. So I'd say that it's pretty much stabilized at this point. We'll just see who has the better long-run setup.
Yeah, and I figure here in another oh, let's say 2 or 3 laps, they're going to be coming up on lap traffic. Well, maybe quicker than that on the front stretch. They catch these guys in the corner here.
And that would be the lap down car, the 77 of Mason Rogers, and he's just going to move up to the outside and let Eric go. And then ahead of them is the 23 of Justin McClintock, who currently is on the lead lap, and he's going to try to hold on to that lead lap spot as much as he can.
Yeah, that's a great example right there, guys. Not to interrupt you, Jeff, but if you noticed how those guys caught those lappers, even though they let them go, when you catch a guy, and Eric had to dive low to get around Mason Rogers going into 1, and Mike was able to apex the corner properly. So even though those guys are letting the leaders go, lappers really make a huge difference in races regardless. So you can see that, just watching the race right there.
Yeah, Mike picked up almost 2 tenths off of when they were going around that lap traffic there. But now that they're clear of it, it looks like Eric's gone back to his half a second lead.
And Eric got a little loose off of 2 there, and Mike is now close right up to his bumper.
I believe Eric tagged the wall, didn't he, when he came out of 2? I think he got a little loose there, and the rear end hit the wall coming out of 2.
Okay, I didn't hear it. It's possible. That happens.
Yeah, Mike is definitely there. He's right on his rear bumper now. I was just checking out the points, and I think Mike's just going for it. He wants the championship, but I think he didn't get a win yet this season.
Now going back and looking at it, no, Eric, he didn't touch the wall, but he did get it a little loose there, and that will cost you some speed going down the straightaway, and that allowed Mike to catch up to him going into the turn there. Looks like Eric's got the pretty good setup for the long run, and Mike's just fighting for it, trying to catch up to him.
It looks like Mike's lap times have dropped off a little more than Eric's have. Mike Alexander running a 7 that lap. Actually, Eric ran an 8, so never mind. I'll put my foot back in my mouth.
Well, I think Mike can catch him in the corners, but Eric has better straightaway speed, and he kind of pulls away from him a little bit. So, if their lap times are running pretty consistent, and they're only maybe a tenth of a second off each other.
Yeah, it looks like you'll see one driver make a mistake. The 15 gets a little loose off the corner. 75 will reel him in, and then, sometimes he'll catch the curb on the inside and lose a little bit of ground. So, just little mistakes that are really separating these two right now.
A little further back, watching Ian Blanchard go around 23. Third, 9 seconds behind. Don't think he has anything, but just to let you know where people stand. And Lee Walker's back in, he's in 4th, 18 seconds behind. And then there's Justin 1 lap down in 5th.
Yeah, and Lee Walker is about to see these leaders in his mirror. They are just about a corner behind him right now.
And that doesn't seem much, but you watch, they'll catch him on the front stretch, probably going across the start-finish line.
And say, Ian Blanchard's doing a really good job here. He was involved in that big wreck there, but he's only about a tenth a second a lap off the pace. Couldn't have gotten too much damage.
You see Lee Walker move down straight away there, let the 2 leaders go by, and try not to get involved in their race. That'll put Walker 1 lap down in 4th spot. He'll get the first car lap down if this yellow does come out here. He'll get back on the lead lap.
Does look like Lee has a little bit of front end damage. Not much, but a little bit to the right front. And it's slowing him down some. But he's in a good position. At least he's hanging in there, running in fourth.
With 25 laps to go, this race has basically turned into a match race for the championship between Mike Alexander and Eric Malik as they circulate the Martinsville Speedway. Both guys running almost identical lap times. Nobody gives an inch. I'm sure they're both frustrated with the other one. Both want to get this victory.
I don't think it has anything to do. Well, it probably does have something to do with the points, but I'm thinking these two guys are running hard just to see who can win the race and get the big bragging rights because they won the last race of the season.
And they also get another check mark next to the big ITZR all-time winners list. I know Mike Alexander has one. I believe Eric Malik has one as he won I believe a North Series race this season at Iowa. And in that race, he gave our fearless leader, Britt Van Meter, his nickname of .003.
Would that be because he has .003 wins?
Nope, that was because Eric Malik beat him by .003 to the line for the win. That would have been Britt Van Meter's first ever in the zone racing win.
Oh, boy.
I can't let him live it down, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that, Britt, but you know how it goes. I wish I could say I've won one of these, but the only thing I've won was when we first started them, an Enduro Demo Derby race in a Legends car back at USA. And Saturday night I took a heat race win in the Late Model Shootout Series. But other than that, I can't claim anything else.
The leader's in lap traffic now, and it looks like Eric's going to gap Mike Alexander just a little bit there. He got through lap traffic a lot better than Alexander was able to.
I don't think Alex knew that there was lap traffic coming up, and he got stuck behind. I believe it was Justin, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that'll be his second lap. He's down now. He's running pretty much all by himself right now. He's got the guy one lap ahead of him and a guy about 5 laps behind him. So, you know, he's kind of just holding on to that 4th spot. Really can't or 5th spot. He really can't go anywhere at this point.
But that did give Eric a good lead over Mike. Instead of a half a second lead, now it's up to 9/10 of a second.
Looks like we're coming up on about 15 laps to go here.
And you can really see Mike Alexander working the wheel. He's driving it in hard, using the rear brakes to pitch that thing sideways in the center and try to drive it off the corner. And seems to be working for him, but he just sort of losing Eric just by a couple hundredths a lap, and you know, that's all the difference.
Well, I think Eric's in a position here where he's just driving it smooth and running his race, and Mike's just trying to push the car just a little bit too hard so he can try to catch it and take the win.
And now he's going to get the wall a little bit off turn 4. He's really pushing as hard as he can right now. Just trying to make anything up he can.
Yeah, these cars tend not to fall off. I've been watching lap times, and they're running about the same lap times they were 20 laps ago. It seems like I think, Jeff, you mentioned earlier that they run a pretty good lap, one or two laps that they really can get on it. And then, I mean, they've only really fallen off maybe a tenth in the last 30 laps.
Well, you have to remember they're on, what, 42, 43 lap old tires also. So when they first came out of the pits, they're running, you know, 20.5s. Now they're running 20.9s, 20.8 and a halves.
Caution's
was
out.
Eric's last lap. We got a caution.
Ooh, we got a
now.
caution.
Something happened with 23 car off turn 4. Looked like he might have went around. As Justin McClintock, who's 2 laps down right now.
With only 3 cars on the lead lap, I'm thinking we're going to see some pit stops here.
And actually, it looked like the 23 car hit the inside curbing coming off turn 4, and it just shot him right to the outside wall and hit the outside wall and just kind of stopped on the front straightaway.
And here come the leaders. You were right. They're coming into the pits.
It's just going to give Mike Alexander his last and only opportunity to possibly take this win from Eric Mullen.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're
something
probably
interesting.
gonna have... Go ahead, Jeff.
There's something interesting. The one car who was in 3rd spot on the lead lap, it's Ian Blanchard. He stayed out. He did not pit, so he's actually going to take over the lead now.
I wonder if that was a strategy deal or if he's going to come in on the next time by. And it looks like Eric's taking 4 tires here.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yep, Mike took 2 tires to get out in front of him. Smart
Yeah,
move.
Yeah, and now Blanchard does head to the pit, so he might have just missed pit road, just going too fast, couldn't pull in time. So he's not going to try to stay out there on old tires. He's going to come take tires and see if he can make something happen here.
Plus, he does have that damage on the rear end, so hopefully he doesn't have to stay in too long for his optionals.
The 89 Lee Walker, he did get the wave by, so he's going to move up to the lead lap. So we're going to have 4 cars on the lead lap for, it looks like about a 6-7 lap shootout to the end.
And Lee goes into the pits.
Yeah, Lee gets back on the lead lap, and now he's going to dive to the pits, get some tires, and you know, you never know. Somebody might get together in front of you. You might just drive by for the win.
Well, you know, you got these 2 guys, Eric and Mike. They could get together, fighting for the lead, and take each other out. And then there goes Lee riding right by for the win.
I want to bring up another scenario, and maybe I'll have Jeff get his calculator after this one. But you've got Mike Alexander leading the race right now, also leading the championship points. The guy in second, Eric Mullen, is second in points and sitting right behind him on the racetrack as well. Now, Jeff, would it be possible if Eric were to, say, nudge Mike out of the way, maybe make him fall back to the back of the lead lap, that he could possibly take this championship and this race all in one swoop?
Well, the difference is 4 positions and going into this race. So based on that, it's not possible, but with the lead laps, I believe Eric's going to get a 2-point bonus for leading the most laps, so that would actually be the difference. They could actually tie, and Eric would go over the points lead based on wins. And so it's anything's possible right now as the pace car heads in. We're about to go green.
Green flag.
Well, let's see if Mike can hold off Eric on the outside for the next 6 laps or so. See how this comes down to the shootout.
And Eric's able to get down in front of Blanchard and take the 2nd spot there. Blanchard's actually running pretty good. He's hanging with these top 2.
Well, it looked like Mike got up on the curb in 3 and 4, and that gave Eric the chance to get down inside of Mike, coming out of 2.
Oh, they get together there.
Oh no!
Caution's out.
Mike goes into the wall. No, that was Eric.
Oh,
now
contact going into 3. The one car, I don't know if he didn't know the yellow was out, but he got in the back of the 75 there going into turn 3.
Now,
very seldom do you see him wrecking under caution.
I believe this race will end under caution, and it is a 3-spot difference between the 1st and 4th, but it looks like Mike's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, that ended up going the wrong way for Eric Malik, unfortunately, as he nosed her hard in the inside wall. Just hard racing. That's a racing deal. Not much you can do about that.
Was that Eric and Mike getting together there, or?
Yeah, it looked like Eric just slid up a little high, maybe Mike a little low, just one of those things. And it shot Eric into the inside wall, and he nosed her hard pretty much, going into the inside wall there.
Yeah, looking at the replay, it looks like Eric got a little loose there, coming out of the corner and nudged Mike on the inside and sent him into the wall.
I'll tell you what, though, guys, the drama was building there for me. I felt pretty excited, but now we just get to stare at Mike Alexander. I guess, what is it, Season 2 of the Late Model Challenge Series. Your Season 2 champion and race winner, all in one day. That's a pretty good day.
Ian Blanchard had the second place run in the LMSS, and he's going to have a second place run in the LMCS race. So 2 solid second place finishes. Probably wanted to win this one, but he did get caught up in that early wreck, and so with all the damage that he did have, second place is a pretty good run. And third place, it's going to be Lee Walker, who showed up late. Didn't really plan on running this race, just kind of showed up last minute, jumped out there, and he's going to have a pretty good third place finish as well.
And that sent Eric back to 4th place after that little spin, but he does finish the race. Not sure of the points yet, but we'll get those totaled up for you and get them out to you. And then that brings Mason Rogers to 5th, 7 laps down, with Justin McClintock in 6th, also 7 laps down, and that was all the cars that finished the race.
Yeah, and the guys that did not finish, the 44, Jeffrey Gallup in 7th. Not entirely sure what happened to Gallup there. He did just pull in middle of the race and left. Sean Rafferty had some damage early after spinning out. He's going to finish 8th. Stefan Brunel was involved in that big wreck. Came back out for a little bit. The damage was just too much to drive that car. He's going to finish 9th. Kenneth O'Keefe, he's going to come home 10th after sitting on the pole early. And then 11th place is Alex Lacanada in the 24 car.
And Mike gets a few bumps from his fellow drivers while he's doing the donuts on the front stretch to celebrate the win and the championship. And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with him here in a few minutes after he pulls his car back into the pits.
He's doing some pretty donuts there. Those are pretty good ones.
Yeah, I learned how to do those last Saturday night in my first win for the heat race at New Smyrna, and I was pretty psyched about that. Of course, we know Kevin's done quite a few, and Jeff's done quite a few also, and I think Bill's had a couple of them for the sprint cars and the nationwide.
No, I don't.
Well, you could lie there a little bit, Bill.
I do have one Legends win, Rusty. That's it. Just a Legends car.
Well, I thought you won a sprint car too, didn't you?
No, I can't drive the sprint car to save my life, unfortunately.
I thought when we ran last season at Richmond, you pulled out a win there because Jeff gave you a setup, or did you just finish second?
I only ran one race. I believe I crashed at Richmond. I was faster at Irwindale. I did have a better car at Irwindale. I was better driving that track. But yeah, sprint cars not in my vocabulary.
Well, it's not in mine either, but I like running them. I run just about everything that ITZR puts on, and I have a blast doing it. I can't say that we don't run with a better bunch of guys, and it's really a blast.
Yeah, we should give mention that the sprint cars are currently on a break, but they will be back in a couple weeks, and that's every Tuesday night. So if you're looking for a sprint car league, I know there's not too many out there. ITZR definitely has one of the better ones.
Looks like we're not going to have any, any interviews with drivers. They don't want to talk to us this week. So I'm going to let one of you guys wrap it up this week. I'm always the one that signs us out, but one of you guys can take it.
Kev, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Alrighty, we want to thank everybody here for watching the Late Model Challenge Series on In the Zone Racing. I want to thank Doug for putting us out there on the air. want to thank all the drivers there. Had a nice race. It was a pretty good run there during the middle. And I hope I did a good job. I want to thank Rusty and Bill and Jeff in there for letting me come in.
Yep, I had a blast. I don't know about you guys, but it was fun. Even though we weren't down on the track, it was fun to broadcast the race. Wish we knew a few more of the guys a little bit better than what we did. It's not like it was a shootout series race where we run with the guys every night or every week and know who they are. But I had a good time.
Next year.
Thanks,
you guys
Kev.
are running shootout series next year, Rusty.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Don't make it.
Thanks for Bill and Jeff for helping us host. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to get these Challenge Series drivers at least one broadcast race after all the shootout races that we did this season. So I'm going to give a thanks to Sierra Speed Technology and Torsham LLC as long as leftturns.com for their pole award. It's been a great season for the LMSS and LMCS. So hopefully we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and also remember that the ITZR Pro Series is coming up. So if you're interested in racing for some money, ITZR Pro Series for some of the better late model drivers, and that'll be available in a week or two.
Well, we appreciate you being with us tonight, and we hope you guys have a good night, and hope to see you again sometime.
InTheZoneRacing.com